Okay, so have you ever like actually stopped to think about how crazy it is that you can just order something online
Yeah.
and it shows up at your door like 2 days later?
It's pretty amazing, right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Or how about just going to a store and like they almost always have what you're looking for?
Right, like how does that even happen?
Yeah, well, today we are going on a deep dive into the world of logistics to kind of see how all that works.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, we're talking about how information technology is totally like revolutionizing the whole supply chain thing.
Yeah, it's nuts how much it's changing things.
It is. We're going to be looking at excerpts from a document actually called Logistics Information System. And
Catchy title?
yeah, super catchy. But trust me, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
Oh, I bet it is. This stuff can get really complex.
It can,
Yeah.
but don't worry. I'm sure we can break it down and like make it fun.
Well, that's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. So, this isn't just about like businesses and spreadsheets and all that boring stuff.
Right.
This actually impacts every single person, like all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because we all need things right, and those things have to get to us somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's about efficiency and all that, but it's also about like literally just getting the stuff we need.
When we need it.
We need it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this document talks about something called demand forecasting.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right.
It's like using AI and machine learning to predict what people are going to want to buy.
And when they're gonna want it.
And when? I mean, is that even possible?
It is. It's like mind-blowing, but yeah, it is. And it's actually getting more accurate all the time.
Really?
Yeah, think about it like those recommendations you get on like Netflix or Spotify or whatever.
Uh-huh.
They use like similar technology, but in logistics, they take it to a whole other level.
So they're looking at like what people watched or listened to before?
Yeah, but they're also using tons of other data too, like
Yeah.
everything from like past sales to weather patterns to even like what's trending on social media.
Wow. So it's not just like throwing darts at a board anymore.
Nope, it's all about data now.
So instead of a company like just guessing how many of whatever to stock, they can actually make a pretty educated decision.
Exactly. They can anticipate demand before it even happens.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's say those goods are like actually on the move now.
Okay.
What happens then?
Well, that's where the whole real-time tracking thing comes in.
Yeah, I've seen that like when I order something online.
Exactly. So we're talking about a whole bunch of different technologies working together here. Like you've got RFID tags.
Those are those little like sticker things, right?
Yep, those little chips you see on clothes and stuff sometimes. But then there's also GPS, obviously.
Right.
And then there's these things called IoT sensors.
IoT sensors, wait, hold on, what are those?
Okay, so IoT stands for Internet of Things.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like taking everyday objects and connecting them to the internet.
Oh.
So in logistics, they can like embed these sensors into shipping containers or even like individual products.
Right.
Yeah, so they can track the location, but also things like the temperature or even the condition of the goods.
Wow. So it's like having eyes on everything all the time.
Pretty much it's a constant stream of data.
That's wild. So it's like way more than just checking a tracking number online, right?
Way more. Yeah, you get a much more like granular view of where everything is and what's happening.
Okay, so this document also mentions cloud computing playing a huge role in all of this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that the same cloud that like we use for our photos and music?
It's the same basic concept, yeah, but like on a massive scale.
Okay.
So you've got these platforms like Microsoft Azure or Oracle Cloud.
Yeah.
And they basically let different companies in the supply chain, like suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, everyone, they can all share information in real time.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like imagine everyone working on the same Google Doc at the same time.
Yeah.
And they can all see each other's edits as they're happening.
Okay, that makes sense. So no more like back and forth emails or phone calls.
Exactly. It streamlines everything.
Everyone's on the same page, literally.
Yeah.
Speaking of staying on the same page, let's talk about e-commerce.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I buy almost everything online now.
Me too. It's so easy.
Right. But I never really stopped to think about like all the technology that makes it possible.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. So like what's actually going on behind the scenes?
Cool. Every time you click buy or add something to your cart,
Yeah.
there's this whole system of automated order processing happening.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's instant shipment tracking and even automated returns processing.
Wow. So it's all happening automatically.
Pretty much IT makes the whole e-commerce experience like seamless.
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had to like call a company every time you wanted to check on your order?
Oh my gosh, that would be a nightmare.
It would be the worst. Okay, so we've got all these goods like moving all over the world.
Right.
But what about like when things go wrong? Like what happens if there's a hurricane or
Right.
like a big port closure or something?
Right. Well, that's where risk management comes in.
Okay.
So IT systems are now being used to actually predict and like mitigate those potential disruptions.
So they can see it coming.
They can try to. Yeah. They analyze tons of data looking for patterns and warning signs.
Okay.
It's kind of like how airlines use all that fancy software to reroute flights around bad weather.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So they can proactively like reroute shipments or find alternate suppliers if they need to.
So they can keep things running smoothly even when like crazy stuff happens.
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh.
Okay. So it sounds like data analysis is like super important in all of this.
Oh, it's crucial. Yeah, we're talking about sifting through mountains of data to find those like little golden nuggets of insight.
Right.
That can help companies optimize their routes, improve efficiency, and even make the whole supply chain more sustainable.
More sustainable.
Yeah, like reducing waste and emissions and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So we can learn all that from just looking at data.
Yeah, data's power, right?
It is. Okay, now there's one thing I've always been curious about.
What's that?
What about those times when I buy something online but then pick it up at a store?
Oh, yeah.
How does that work from like a logistics standpoint?
So that's what they call omni-channel integration.
Omni-channel integration.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I know. But basically it means that a company is selling its products across like all these different channels.
Okay.
So online, in-store, mobile, you name it.
Correct.
And it's getting more and more popular these days.
Yeah, seems like it.
But it requires some pretty sophisticated IT systems to make it all work.
So they can track their inventory across all these different places?
Exactly. They need real-time visibility into their stock levels so they know what's available where.
So no matter how I choose to shop, I can see what's in stock and it's all connected.
Yep, it's all integrated.
That's really cool. Okay, now this document mentions blockchain, and I've heard that word a lot.
Yeah, it's a buzzword for sure.
Yeah.
Usually in relation to cryptocurrency.
Right, Bitcoin and all that.
But what does blockchain actually have to do with logistics?
So blockchain at its core is like a digital ledger,
Okay.
but it's super secure and transparent.
Okay.
So in logistics, they're using it to track the movement of goods, like from the very beginning to the very end.
Uh-huh.
And it creates this permanent record that can't be tampered with.
Oh, wow. So like no one can cheat the system.
Pretty much. Yeah, it makes things a lot more trustworthy.
So how does that benefit me as like a regular consumer?
Well, think about things like counterfeit goods or like concerns about food safety.
Okay. Yeah.
Blockchain can help verify that a product is actually authentic.
Right.
You can trace it back to its origin and see how it's been handled along the way.
That makes sense. So it's like adding an extra layer of trust.
Exactly.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of like powerful software making all this happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some really sophisticated systems out there.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, you've got things like supplier relationship management or SRM
Right.
that helps companies manage their interactions with their suppliers.
So like keeping track of orders and stuff.
Exactly, ensuring
Right.
smooth communication and collaboration.
Makes sense.
And then you've got warehouse management systems or WMS.
WMS.
These are like the brains of the operation.
Oh, wow.
They orchestrate the movement of goods within a warehouse,
Okay.
optimize storage space,
Oh.
and even like direct robots to pick and pack orders.
Robots.
Yeah, a lot of warehouses are using robots now. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. It's like mind-boggling to think about all these different systems working together.
It's a lot of moving parts for sure.
It's like a perfectly choreographed dance or something.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then there's this thing called CPFR.
Oh yeah, collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment.
What is that all about?
So CPFR is all about like breaking down silos and getting everyone in the supply chain on the same page.
Huh?
It's about sharing data, collaborating on forecasts, and making joint decisions to optimize inventory levels and reduce waste.
So instead of everyone just like doing their own thing,
Right.
they're actually working together.
Exactly. They're sharing information and making smarter decisions as a team.
I like that. So it's like a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's all powered by IT.
Right. We often take this stuff for granted, but the way goods move around the world has a huge impact on our lives.
Yeah, it really does.
And IT is making the whole system more efficient, more resilient, and more transparent.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
Like from AI predicting our shopping habits to blockchain making sure the stuff we buy is actually legit.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
wild.
makes you realize just how interconnected everything is.
It does, and it kind of makes you wonder what the future holds.
What do you mean?
Well, like, can these technologies help us solve even bigger problems?
Oh, yeah.
Could they play a role in, like, addressing global food security or reducing the environmental impact of logistics?
Those are some really good questions.
Yeah, something to think about.
This deep dive has definitely given me a whole new perspective on logistics.
Me too.
And it's amazing to see how much IT is shaping the future.
Yeah, the possibilities are pretty endless.
It makes you realize that even something as simple as, like, ordering a book online
Right.
is really a testament to the power of technology and human ingenuity.
I agree. It's pretty incredible when you stop and think about
It
it.
really is. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on the show, and as always, thanks to everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See.
Bye.